Hello, welcome to the Moto Central News Desk. This week brought to you by Racetech. I'm Billy Rainford. Let's get to our top stories for this week. We're going to have to start out, of course, out on the west coast in Abbotsford, BC, where round one of the Rockstar Triple Crown Tour actually started this week with the Arena Cross portion. Heading into this round, obviously, let's talk about the 250 class first. We had a couple guys that were kind of, I guess, were leading the way and who we'd be guessing for the wins. I'm talking about probably number 5, Tyler Medaglia, the two-time 250 champ who moved down from the 450 class. He's now racing the 250 class. And also, don't forget number 94, we had Luke Rensland picked up by the MX101 guys. So, very proven pedigree from both of these guys. So, who was going to step up to beat them? Well, it turns out we had a relative unknown. Ryder Floyd came up from Paris, Texas, riding for the Manlock Racing team. He came up, took the win. A surprising win to most, maybe not to him and his team, but to most people watching, had them looking for their programs, wondering who the number 296 was out there. He actually raced both classes, so congratulations to Ryder Floyd for grabbing that first win up here in Canada, his first trip up to Canada as well. So the top 3 actually went, Ryder Floyd, Tyler Medaglia, and then Luke Rensland, followed by, then we had Marco Canella and Jair Mitchell up from Bermuda. So great ride from him as well. He was actually our top qualifier. So heading into the 450 class, we had to think Cole Thompson really excels on these indoor tracks. The track last year, if you remember, was very muddy. This year, spongy, not quite as muddy, really rutted up, made it very technical. You had to be pinpoint on your lines. You couldn't always take the racing line and go for the doubles. You had to protect your insides, otherwise you'd have been passed. But Cole Thompson took the win, followed by Matt Gerke and Future West Arena Cross champ, current champ, that'd be Colin Jurin. Behind him in 4th, it was Phil Nicoletti, and then number 12, Cade Clayson, came out rounding up the top 5. So pretty interesting. There were some good battles. Cole Thompson got away out front, looked really solid. He's going to be tough to beat. We know that indoors. What he's really hoping for is when we get to the outdoor that he can actually take the Motocross championship as well. So that's the one that eluded him last year on his way to the Triple Crown $100,000. This week we head to Calgary. So all the guys, I did some interviews this week, some podcasts. Most of the guys took the drive across. A lot of the guys hadn't seen it before. Really loved that road. You go from Vancouver to Calgary. Some of the most beautiful driving in all of North America, to be honest. So this week we're at the Agrium Center right there in Stampede Grounds right in downtown Calgary. That's this Saturday. So be sure to check that out. And actually, speaking of checking it out, you can do so live on an app. It's called the Two Wheels TV app. You can get that at Two Wheels TV, or you can watch it if you get the Fox Sports Racing Canada channel on your TV. You can watch that as well. So 2 ways to check it out. The Two Wheels TV actually goes to archive too. It takes a couple days for them to get it up there. They remove some of the commercials, so it really flows nicely. Had a chance to check that out this week, and it worked really well once they got it up. Also joining the crew this week is going to be Kristen Beat. You may know her. She's going to be the trackside reporter again down for us and our series down on the trackside, assisting Zeb Dennis, who was on the floor last week doing the on-stage interview. So Kristen Beat brings with her a lot of experience. So we should see the quality of the broadcast go up even higher, so that's going to be good. So welcome to Canada, Kristen Beat. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. They will join, of course, Ryan Gauld and Kyle Thompson in the booth. So what did we really learn at the round 1 out there in Abbotsford this last weekend? I'm not really sure we learned a whole heck of a lot. With a track like that, I mean, you get a good start. It really pays off dividends, obviously. Ryder Floyd found that out in the 250 class, and Cole Thompson too made some early moves up there to get to the front in the 450 class. Not a normal situation for an arena cross track. I think this week we're going to see kind of more the usual. Again, we don't know a whole lot about Ryder Floyd, so I think definitely we're going to see some of the guys behind there move up. Some of the guys who have an awful lot of arena cross and supercross practice and training and experience. In the 450 class, watch for, again, the cream always rises to the top there, but it's going to be a little more of a normal sort of circumstance. We're going to be doing all the jumps, going to be doing all the rhythms. I'm assuming the whoops will hold up a little better. They're not going to get quite so rutted down the middle and everything like that. So watch for a little bit more of, shall we say, normal kind of circumstances this weekend in Calgary. So all right, let's move on to Supercross. You're probably wondering maybe why we're doing this a little later this week as well. There were some pretty serious crashes and accidents there at the Nashville Supercross. That's where I happened to be down there, and some of them were pretty scary. So we were a little nervous. I didn't want to get on here too soon and kind of and guess at some of the injuries and what may or may not have happened. So a few guys, of course, Austin Forkner, kind of been famous a little bit for pushing the edge in practice and qualifying. He says to kind of find out where that edge is. Well, he found out where it is, got a little out of control, dabbed that left foot, went down. left first qualifying early, came back, tried to ride in the final qualifying session, ended up pulling off, kind of collapsed, as I'm sure we've all seen that video now. He's in pain now. Fortunately, the East 250 guys get this weekend off. It's moved over to Denver, so we got the West Coast guys going here. So they get a week off, and then we're going to head back. They won't be up until the following week in New Jersey, so hopefully these guys will have some time to heal up. Also, in the 450 class, Joey Savacci, you probably saw that where he kind of slid out and crashed right in front. That took number 94, Ken Roxon, out and put him over the berm, trying to get back up. It looks like Joey Savacci says he's just sore, so it looks like he's in for this weekend, so that's good news as well. Some people were speculating that perhaps he popped his shoulder too badly and wouldn't be able to ride, or his wrist or whatever, so it looks like he's in. Also, that crash between Tyler Enticknap and Ronnie Stewart, boy, that was a scary one. Both guys got taken away on the stretchers and things, so we were all quite worried. When Tyler Enticknap went by, I knew he was obviously hurt, injured, but he gave me kind of the thumbs up as I went by. Turns out he did break his sacrum. He has an L5 fracture. He got some plates and screws and things put in, but I mean, that sounds horrible, obviously, but could have been worse. He's on the mend. If you check out his Instagram, he's actually got, he's been posting some videos and stuff like that saying that he's okay. Ronnie Stewart, on the other hand, I made a few phone calls. What I've heard is that he hit his head really badly, but that other than that, he's okay. So again, that is very fortunate because that looked like it could have been worse as well. So good news for both guys. Looks like they're on the mend. All four of those guys we've mentioned. So that is good. So that's the kind of the injury report. I'm sure there were some other guys who went down there as well. But now in the 250 Supercross, if you notice, that was number 73. Martin Davalos got up to the top of the box there. Pumped. I mean, you have to be happy for this guy. He came right out in the press conference, said, hey, I know everybody says I've been in the 250 class too long. I want a good ride in the 450 class. I'm done with the 250s. I want to move up. So you had to give it to him there. The guys behind him, obviously, that was Chase Sexton and Justin Cooper. Cooper went inside, got a little overzealous, took the two of them out. So they spent their race climbing back up to second and third. Sexton was second, and Cooper was third. In the 450 class, smoking bike and all. I mean, Eli Tomac, man, that must have been one of the most stressful days for a rider, mechanic, and team to have. When you get out there, your bike seizes early, you come out in the LCQ, you win that, but your bike's smoking. You go back, obviously do some kind of work to it, come back out, and the bike smokes for the majority of the final. He didn't care. Eli just kind of went for it, put a nice big gap on, won that main event. So it went Eli Tomac, followed by Blake Baggett and Cooper Webb. Cooper Webb still holds the lead in that. It's down to Eli Tomac and Marvin Musquin are tied for second, 21 points back. Eli said he wasn't worried. He has faith in his team. He was just more worried about how far his mechanic had to push that bike back because the pits were a long way back from the track. So he said it's not over yet, but it's a big gap. I mean, he was straight up asked, hey, what do you do now to get the championship? He said, hey man, it's a big deficit. I'll try to go out and win and see what happens. So Cooper Webb pretty safely out front there with only a couple rounds left, man. And in the East, we've got Austin Forkner still does hold the lead, but he's got a very slim lead now over Chase Sexton, who's only 3 points behind. And I think Chase was mostly upset because knowing that if he had won, those 3 points are what he would have made up, so that would have tied him for the lead right now going in. So hopefully Austin Forkner is going to be okay and comes back. This week, the whole traveling circus moves over to Denver, where it looks like at the moment there's a bit of snow. So I'm not sure what to do at the old Mile High Stadium there in Denver. We'll have to wait and see. I guess the guys can ride probably better in snow than you can in mud, perhaps. A little bit firmer base, but also the time change because of what's going on with the hockey playoffs. It's a bit earlier, so be sure you check that out if you're trying to watch it live and you want to keep up on what's happening there. Also on Sunday was also the Supercross Futures round. Now Saturday we got lucky in Nashville. By the way, Nashville, I really hope that event stays on the circuit for a long time. That is, if you're planning one trip to a race next year, go to Nashville. It's right across the river from downtown, all kinds of fun music and pubs and just things to hang out, people watch. You get on the little scooter, costs us $2. You hopped on the scooter, Emily and I, go across, hang out, come back. Even that was on the dinner break, come back and catch all the action. Just a really, really good venue. 54, almost 55,000 people watched it, so spectator-wise, it was good. So good job to Nashville. And like I said, got lucky on Saturday. The weather was perfect. It was hot. It was perfect racing conditions. Sunday, not so much for the Futures. They held it. There was some thunder and lightning early, so they kind of backed it off a little bit, made another call. Show must go on. Racing went on, so the guys got out there and got muddy. All the classes were run. They had to shorten the final, the mains a little bit, and even some of the small bike classes, they actually altered the course a little bit. It was pretty sketchy, folks. Yeah, we've got certainly some photos of that will be showing just how bad that was. All right, now let's briefly hop across the pond here and talk about a couple of things. The MXGP, let's talk about those championships. MX2 right now, it is Olsen from Denmark out front, and he's got defending champ Prado in second, 20 points down, so looking pretty good for him. And Jacoby is third from Germany. In the 450 class, Tim Geiser actually took the win, went 1-1 last week over number 222, Antonio Caroli. But in the points, Caroli still leads over Geiser, and Gauthier Paulin is in third place. Now, I just want to mention too, Glenn Koldenhoff, if you remember last year at the Motocross of Nations, he was incredible. He's sitting 13th right now from the Netherlands in the MXGP. That doesn't help me explain his performance at the Motocross of Nations at all. Anyway, next up, they 12th to be in the MXGP of Lombardia in Mantova. If you don't know where that is, it's actually in the north central part of Italy. So that's May 12th for those guys. And if you're wondering about Hurlings, Jeffrey Hurlings, the defending champ, he's still off. Of course, he shattered his foot. He's trying to come back. I saw on there he's pretty busy getting his Lamborghini detailed. So he's doing okay, but he'll be back. And people wanted to come over to these States, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. He wants to get back in the mix with the MXGP boys. And last week I forgot to mention that Canadian Cade Walker, who's living over in Holland right now, he actually did the Dutch Grand Prix there, went 25-23 for 24th overall. So it's pretty cool to have a Canadian to cheer for. It's been a long time. When's the last time we had a Canadian to cheer for over in a GP? Been a long time. So yeah, congratulations to Cade. Well done there, man. And I guess that'll about do it here for this week. We're off this week into Calgary, and also the Supercross is in Denver. So thanks for watching here at Moto Central. I'm Billy Rainford, and we'll catch you next time.